The story begins around 285 BC with Ptolemy I Soter, who narrates throughout the film. Ptolemy narrates that history made Alexander better than he was. The Persians ruled to the east. Greece was in decline, and the Persians bribed Greek kings to fight as mercenaries in their army. King Philip changed this by uniting Greece under a single king. He built a professional army. The Persians assassinated Philip, and Alexander came to power. Alexander wanted revenge and conquered all cities of Western Asia and Egypt, where he crowned as pharaoh. Finally, Alexander took on the Persian Empire with the battle at Babylon. In 334 BC, 45,000 Greeks against 100,000 Persians led by King Darius. Hephaestion is Alexander's lover. The Persians have cavalry and chariots, which Alexander counters with legions of phalanxes. Alexander is a skillful commander in battle. He opens up a hole in the Darius lines by luring one part of his army by offering himself as the bait. The Greek army attacks into the hole, and Alexander almost kills Darius, forcing him to withdraw from the battlefield. Persian Empire was destroyed, and at the age of 25, Alexander was the king of all. Alexander grows up with his mother Olympias and his tutor Aristotle, where he finds interest in love, honor, music, exploration, poetry, and military combat. Olympias was a sorcerer, and Alexander was considered by some to be a son of Zeus. Philip hated Olympias, who never let Philip touch her. Hephaestion and Alexander trained together. Aristotle teaches Alexander that a gay relationship is not natural. Men can be friends. A man cannot love a woman as she is purely driven by passion. These ideas were taught to him in childhood. Aristotle showed him the way to India and back to Greece, but he also warns that the East has a way of swallowing men's dreams and lives, which is why Greece has never conquered the East yet. His relationship with his father, Philip II of Macedon, is destroyed when Philip marries Attalus' niece, Eurydice. Olympia tells Alexander that the son of Philip and Eurydice will be a pure Macedonian, unlike Alexander, and hence will have first right to the throne. Olympia wants Alexander to marry a Macedonian or declare civil war against Philip. Alexander calls her mad. She tries to convince Alexander that Zeus is his real father and Philip never wanted him. Alexander insults Philip after disowning Attalus as his kinsman. Attalus had toasted Eurydice as the legit queen and her future sons as the legit Macedonian sons at Philip's wedding, which results in Alexander's banishment from Philip's palace. After Philip is assassinated in 336 BC, Alexander is proclaimed the king of Macedonia in the ensuing chaos. His supporters move quickly, take advantage of the public mood, and crown him king, even though Eurydice had a son. Alexander suspects Olympia of being behind the assassination. That was the last time Alexander saw Olympia. He had Atlas, Eurydice, and her son killed. Ptolemy mentions Alexander's punitive campaign in which he razes Thebes, also referring to the later burning of Persepolis, then gives an overview of Alexander's West Persian campaign, including his declaration as the son of Zeus by the oracle of Ammon at Siwa Oasis, his great battle against the Persian Emperor Darius III in the Battle of Gaugamela, and his 8-year campaign across Asia. Back in the present, Alexander enters the rich city of Babylon. Alexander meets Bagos in Babylon and is attracted to him. He treats Darius's queen with respect and grants her the status of his own family. Olympia wants to be brought to Babylon as queen, but Alexander is not too keen on it. Alexander continues to chase Darius across Persia in 329 BC and finds his dead body at a river where Darius had been betrayed by his own commanders. Alexander then chased the commanders until he killed them all. All cities that stood in his way were burnt down and destroyed. He marries a commoner from Bactria, a woman of no political significance. The woman was Roxane. After 7 long years away from Macedonia, Alexander's commanders don't understand what they are doing so far away from home, building roads and cities for barbarians. Alexander seeks an Asian empire with him as king. They are upset with Alexander marrying Roxane and want a Macedonian heir. The commanders can see that Alexander lusts for war. Also seen are Alexander's private relationships with his childhood friend Hephaestion, Bagos, and later his wife, Roxane. Hephaestion compares Alexander to Achilles, to which Alexander replies that Hephaestion must be his Patroclus. When Hephaestion mentions that Patroclus died first, Alexander pledges that, if Hephaestion should die first, he will follow him into the afterlife, as Achilles had done for Patroclus. Hephaestion shows extensive jealousy when he sees Alexander with Roxane and deep sadness when he marries her. Roxane sees Alexander embracing Hephaestion and does not trust him. Olympia warns Alexander not to chase his dreams further east and asks him to return to Babylon or Macedonia to strengthen the empire. Philotas is found guilty to be leading a conspiracy against Alexander and is executed after trial. Alexander orders his loyal father Parmenion to be executed as well, as Parmenion was in charge of guarding his supply lines to the east. Alexander is shown to sleep with Bagos. Alexander marches his army of 150,000 soldiers through the passes of Hindu Kush into the promised lands of India. Roxane bore no sons even after 2 years of marriage. He reaches India in 327 BC. He finds monkeys, sadus, rain, and forests. He found no gold. The army became restless as even conquered lands were returned to their kings to make them allies. Hephaestion attempts to keep Roxane away from him after Alexander murders Cleitus the Black in India. Cleitus got drunk and started by saying that he wanted to be back in Macedonia. He then insulted Alexander by calling him a lesser king to previous Greeks. He then insults his love for Asia and the barbarians, a woman who can't bear sons. He calls him the son of Zeus, and thus a bastard of Philip, and thus his mother a whore. At this point, an enraged Alexander kills Cleitus. Cleitus was a trusted general of Philip. After initial objection from his soldiers, 40,000 had died in the quest to the east. Alexander convinces them. Alexander killed the commanders of the mutiny, and this divided his army, to join him in his final and bloodiest battle, the Battle of Hydaspes against Porus. Porus deploys an army of elephants that trample the core of Alexander's army. Alexander personally leads a charge to rally his troops against the enemy. He is severely injured with an arrow but survives and is celebrated. Alexander orders a return back to Macedonia. Alexander chose the shortest route back through the Arabian desert. This was the worst blunder of his life, and many more thousands died on the way back. Back home, he took 2 more wives. Alexander's army was made of Persians and Macedonians. His generals questioned his every decision, while his regional satraps had dubious loyalties. He orders the construction of Alexandria. Later on, Hephaestion succumbs to an unknown illness, either by chance or perhaps poison, speculated in the film to be typhus carried with him from India. Alexander, full of grief and anger, distances himself from his wife despite her pregnancy, believing that she has killed Hephaestion. He dies less than 3 months after Hephaestion, in the same manner, keeping his promise that he would follow him. On his deathbed, Bagos grieves as Alexander's generals begin to split up his kingdom and fight over the ownership of his body. He died on 10th June 323 BC in Babylon. He was 33 years old. Within 40 years, the empire was split into 4 parts. Cassander kills Olympias 7 years after his death. He then executes Roxane and her 13-year-old son 6 years after that. Alexander's bloodline was finished. The story then returns to 285 BC, where Ptolemy admits to his scribe that he, along with all the other officers, had indeed poisoned Alexander just to spare themselves from any future conquests or consequences mixed races with the Asians. However, he has it recorded that Alexander died due to illness, compounding his overall weakened condition. He then goes on to end his memoirs with praise to Alexander. The movie then ends with the note that Ptolemy's memoirs of Alexander were eventually burned, lost forever with the Library of Alexandria. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.